Hey guys, it's Elizabeth here from Neverland Creative, and today I'm going to be working on week 2 of my project life for 2018. And since I don't have a process video for week 1, I figured that I would kind of give you a little bit of an overview of how my album is progressing so far. This is my title page. I do have a process video up for this, but I did end up changing this card to this manila tag. I printed on it with a Ali Edwards word. I'm not sure which kit that's from, but maybe the Bond story kit, I'm thinking. And I just added the members of our family, what our ages are at the time of this album, and a few things that we are loving doing at the start of the year. So this is week 1, as you can see. I used a couple cards from the January Stories by the Month kit, this one and this one, I believe. And then I believe this might have actually been Stories by the Month as well. But to give it a little bit more of a cohesive look, I added a few label stickers with journaling about what's happening in the photo. And I also used some chipboard, also from the January Stories by the Month kit. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I have a little bit of yellow going on throughout the spread. I wanted to make sure to add in my word of the year, which is focus. So you can see that on the card to the left. And this is a really simple spread, but I'm really loving doing the 9x12 size. I feel like it's a lot easier for me to put together. So I'm excited to go on to week 2. And as you can see, I already have a few things in the pockets because since I've decided to put all of the week numbers on my pages so that I can add a few things into the layout as the weeks progress. Just little things like this week I got my Stitch Fix box, and I plan on incorporating that somehow into my layout. I've already printed the photos that I am going to be using for this week. I believe these are all the photos that I'm going to be using. I might add one or two, but I'm pretty sure these are the main photos. As you can see, I have a lot of 3x4 and not a lot of 4x6, so there's going to be a lot of room for journaling this week, which is great. So I'm excited to get started. Alright, so here we go. Alright, so first off, I'm going to be cutting out all of my photos. I have a Canon selfie that I used to use for my project life, but this year I'm deciding to print all of my photos just through my regular Canon printer. And the reason I decided to do that was because the Canon selfie is not actually 4x6. So the photos that you have are slightly smaller than 4x6. And honestly, last year that really drove me crazy. Because the photos aren't quite the same size as the page protectors, they tend to slip out, and they just, if you back them with cards on the other side, there's this white border you have all around, and it just wasn't my style. So I've been using my Canon MG6620 to print all my photos, and I just do that in Photoshop. I just use a clipping mask to make sure that all my photos are the correct size, and then print it on regular, I believe it's HP paper, I'm not sure. One thing that I do have to watch with my regular Canon printer is what quality that I have my printer set at. So for these, I used photo paper semi-gloss, and that actually worked really well. I've had to really play with my settings on my printer, printing them at home like this, but I think it's worth it because I have instant access to all of the pictures, and whenever the mood strikes to do Project Life, I can, which is worth it for me. So right now, as you can see, I kind of spread out my photos throughout the spread, and now I'm just looking through my Project Life cards. These are from, I believe, the January Stories by the Month kit, yes. from Ali Edwards. And right now I'm just looking through them, trying to see which ones I want to add to the spread. As you can see, I do have that one 4x6 on the left still open, and I'm going to use that for my title card. I do end up using a few of the cards from my Stories by the Month kit, but mostly I will be using digital elements from previous story kits and the January digital kit by Ali Edwards, and you'll see me do that in a moment. I just use the same technique with Photoshop, and right there you can see the finished product. Most of these cards are from the Ali Edwards story kits. That January Stories is actually from her January digital kit, I believe. And I just recolored that in Photoshop using the paint bucket tool. I believe Ali actually has a tutorial on how to do that in her hybrid class, but if you haven't bought that class yet, I'm sure there's tutorials that are free on YouTube on how to do that. So that January Stories card is going to go in the top left as my title card, and the other cards that I've printed out, some of them I've written on and some of them I haven't. I don't end up using all the ones that I printed, but I enjoy printing them anyway because I can always use them in a different spread. And as you can see, my camera cut out a little bit, and you just missed me making that card that I just showed you with all of the little memorabilia from my Stitch Fix box. And for that, I had just used, for the craft background, I just used one of the envelopes that I got my Stories by the Month kit in, and I just used a little bit of washi tape to adhere those two Stitch Fix cards together, and that's pretty much how that card came together. I really like it. I had tried that yellow card that I printed, but it was just too busy for that background, so I decided to go with more of a craft color, and those envelopes are actually the only craft colored paper I have, so I used all my little snippets. And as you can see, I've cut down a couple of my 4x6 cards to 3x4. That picture of one of my meals this week was just, I thought it was too big and too oddly colored. I don't have very much red in the spread, and that was really the only red that I had, so I kind of wanted to minimize that. And I don't like making food photos black and white because I don't really think they look very good. So, so for that, I just tried to minimize the color a little bit. So, right now, I'm just checking out what type of chipboard that I can use throughout the spread. As you can see, I still have places in the spread that are blank, and I'm going to be fixing that here in a little bit. But right now, I'm just adding a chipboard from the Stories by the Month kit, which says make it good, I believe, which I thought went perfectly with the picture of my husband watching football, because it's the playoffs and, you know, you want your team to be good. But this was actually the week that we had 51-degree weather here in New York, which is pretty much unheard of in the middle of January. So I knew that I had to document that. All the snow had melted. So in that photo that I have of our front yard, I put a digital stamp from Ali that says, "Is this real life?" which I thought was pretty apt, because this is so not what January in northern New York is like. And as you can see, I have a screenshot of my YouTube channel and a screenshot of my Instagram. And both of those are really fun for me, really inspiring, because this week I actually had Miss Essie Ruth subscribe to my channel. And if you're in the scrapbooking world, you've probably heard of Essie Ruth and watch her. And I absolutely love what she does on her channel. So it was really exciting for me to have her follow me. And the Instagram screenshot is actually when Ali Edwards Design Instagram liked and commented on one of my Instagram posts. So those were really big things that happened this week, and I felt like they deserved something in Project Life. So as you can see, I am adding a few things more into my pockets. This that I'm working on now is actually a QR code for a video that I made. I take a lot of videos of my daughter and stuff during the week. So at the end of each week, I compile all of my videos into one long video and I upload it to my private YouTube. And then I want to add the link into my Project Life, and a QR code is really great for that. So that's what I decided to do for this week. And I'm just finishing up the spread by adding a few more chipboard shapes to some of my photos. That one is actually a BuzzFeed quiz result, which I thought was really funny because it says that I should move to Hawaii, and we're actually moving to Hawaii in December of next year. But as you can see, I do have the yes card and the best meal, which I will fill out off camera. And for the is this real life photo, I just added a chipboard shape that says start over because we literally did not have any snow on the ground. And now we do. So we really started over with our wintertime fun. And for that photo of me trying on some of my Stitch Fix outfits, I put the chipboard that said all things new, and those are from Allie's Stories by the Month kit for January. So here are my cards all filled out, and that is pretty much the end of my week 2 of Project Life. Alright, so this is how my week 2 ended up looking. I included a few little things that I got from my Stitch Fix box, along with a lot of digital elements this week. It's from Allie Edwards' Eat Story Kit. I'm not sure which kit this was from, but it is from Allie Edwards. Stories by the Month kit. So just kind of like a... Oh, and that's that Stories by the Month kit that I recolored because it was yellow, and I love yellow, but I don't like too much of yellow, and I felt like that would be a little too much of yellow. But I have a couple pops of blue, as you can see, a couple pops of yellow. I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I'm excited to go on to week 3. Thanks so much for watching.